Welcome to Inside Tulsa Athletics. On our show today, we'll preview the 56th Annual Tournament of Champions. We'll be visiting with coaches who have teams in the tournament this year, as well as two former coaches. We'll also have Mike Brown and Barry Lewis of the Tulsa World to talk about and evaluate the teams, both boys and girls bracket. The manager of the BOK will be with us, and Mick Wilson will be here to discuss how you get into the tournament. Stay tuned, and we'll have Annette Kennedy, former basketball coach at Booker T. Welcome to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Our first guest today is Annette Kennedy, longtime legendary girls basketball coach at Booker T. Annette, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks. I appreciate being back here.
Well, this is a special time. This is our whole show today is dedicated to the Tournament of Champions, and I know that you had some Tournament of Champions experience.
There were several along the way in the 19 years that I was coaching there at Booker T. And I'm telling you, every single one of them was a battle. I know that.
It's almost like a mini state tournament in December, isn't it?
It really is. It's a fantastic way to just kind of get the girls kind of hyped up a little bit and get them into that kind of big gym atmosphere, big crowd atmosphere, and there's a lot of media attention around it, and so that does bring that state tournament kind of feeling to it.
The residual effects playing in the large arena, playing before a lot of media, sometimes streaming, television, radio, that you don't normally get in a regular season contest or even a regular season tournament. How does that affect the development of your kids, because it is early in the season?
Well, it's the perfect timing for it, because then you have that chance to go back and kind of tweak the things that you saw, talk to them about all of those, game day jitters and the focus that they have to bring to big games like that. And then it just allows us to work through all of that.
Really is a great time, because you do have a little time there to heal and rest up after the tournament and before you start your regular conference schedule. What are some of the highlights that you can remember from the Tournament of Champions?
Well, probably the biggest one, we were in that, I think it was 2008, maybe. I can't get my years right on it. We were playing Tahlequah Sequoia, who, had a really big win streak going on, and I believe that we knocked them off of that win streak and went on to win a lot of ball games there, and then eventually win a state championship after that. So it was kind of set the stage for big things to follow.
I think that's one of the things that a lot of people look at when they come to this tournament, is that does prepare them for postseason play because of the intensity. I don't see that. There are a few games during the year that you see, regular season games you see, but really that tournament is analogous to the regional area and state tournament, the intensity the players have.
Well, that 3 games in a row kind of mentality, where you have to bring it every single night, because that's what you have to do to get to the end, and I think that simulates that state tournament quite well.
One of the things I've always said, I don't care what sport it is, it carries over, is that when you win a big tournament like that, the good players are probably going to play good, but it's that player that you didn't expect to play really well comes out and has that weekend that you never thought they would ever have.
Well, it gives them that opportunity to put their foot in the door. And it gives coaches, that ease of feeling to know, oh, I can play deeper than my just key lead players that I have, and I can start to depend on more of a full roster. And that's exactly what it takes to get into that state tournament and win it, is going deeper than just your starting 5.
I think that is a good point. One of the other things, I want to see how you feel about this, one of the things that we made a decision on probably 9 years ago when I first got there, was that I kept hearing that we did not have a statewide enough female officials. And I told Mick, I said, what we need to do is we need to have females refereeing our girls' games, so those kids can have a role model, somebody to look at, that there is something after high school basketball if I don't go play college basketball.
I can kind of remember when that went into effect, and I'm friends with a lot of the referees that are around, and they were so excited about getting that format for themselves. And then just the girls being able to connect with another female on the floor. It seemed like there was just an overall smooth transition to what they were doing on the floor. The basketball players themselves felt more at ease. And I thought that was a fantastic time to implement that. And then, as a result, I think that we started seeing more females in the state tournament refereeing those.
Well, we had conversations with the OSSA about, don't tell me there's not enough, because we have a pretty good tournament here.
Yes.
That we have enough. And of course, we carried that over into the BOK showcase as well when we played those showcase games. And I think it lent a lot to the credibility of what we're trying to do with young people. I think it gave them the opportunity to see that. Do you miss coaching?
Absolutely, because basketball is at the heart of who I am. Do I miss the stress? Do I miss the win-loss, long drive home at night and staying up late trying to figure out what went wrong, or trying to bring myself down off of a big win and try to get some sleep? I don't miss that part of it. The basketball is still a passion for me, and I still have my hands in that basketball arena as much as I can, and I'm just thankful for the time to go see my family play ball. I have young nieces and nephews that are playing ball, and it's given me that opportunity that I'm really enjoying.
Well, great. Well, thank you for being here today and giving some of your insights to the Tournament of Champions. And when we come back, we're going to have Evan Paulette, the General Manager of the BOK Center.
Which one of these items can be recycled in the City of Tulsa's blue recycling cart? Mini blinds, hanger, plastic bottle. The correct answer is plastic bottle. Plastic bottles and jugs are great for the City of Tulsa's blue recycling cart, but mini blinds and hangers should be thrown away in the gray trash cart. Learn more at tulsarecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hales means that you have to be consistent, outgoing, and be dedicated, because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined, and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people, no matter how difficult it is.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now we have the Director of Business Development for the BOK Center, Evan Paulette. Evan, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, I tell you what, the BOK Center just keeps having big events, don't they?
We have. It's been great, really, ever since beginning of August, to be able to welcome fans back safely and events back, and it's just been one after the other. So we're excited.
It was. I mentioned to one of the other guests earlier today before we started taping that it was one of the most difficult decisions in the 10 years that I was the director to make, to cancel the tournament last year. It was one of those things that, given the circumstances and as the key phrase people use, studying the science, we didn't have a choice really at that point. And with the protocols and everything in place, we just wanted to protect our kids and our patrons. But now we have this, and we're scheduled to go. And what does having this tournament mean to your folks at the BOK?
Well, I think we pride ourselves in bringing the best events to not just Tulsa, but to Northeast Oklahoma and really Oklahoma, and then even beyond that. I mean, some of the events that we attract, not just bring in a statewide audience, but regional and in certain cases national. And so anytime that we can partner with TPS and have the high quality of high school basketball that's coming here on a statewide level, that's exciting for us, because that's what we want to have. We want to have that top-notch caliber event, and this is definitely, I mean, this is the 56th year to have this. I mean, this is one of those events that when I talk to people and say, hey, Tournament Champions is coming to BOK Center, their eyes light up, because that means something to people that have been around Tulsa, especially Tulsa athletics.
I think so, and I think it means so much to the student athlete.
Yes.
To be able to play in a venue that obviously has had NBA games, Division I games, professional hockey, and a number of other tremendous concerts that you've brought to Tulsa. But I think it epitomizes the importance of this tournament and the importance for the student athletes and the kids that want to attend, and the coaches. I think that they'll be pretty intense. I think one of the things that I've learned, Evan, over the years is that the intensity level at this tournament rivals that of the state tournament, because there are teams from all over the state that have been state champions. And if you win this one, and we know that a lot of years there are teams that be 0-3, and that'll be the last 3 games they lose. They went out for that. What are some of the special things that fans will need to know to be able to get into the BOK Center?
Yeah, we definitely are more normal than we've been, probably in the past, especially as you mentioned, last year was definitely, very different. But for the most part, things are, back to normal. There are some differences though. We still are wanting to, just be aware of, what's going on. And so because of that, we don't have any kind of mask mandate, but we do recommend, that patrons wear masks. We have a clear bag policy, which, really is more just for the overall, just general safety, and it allows our staff to be able to get fans in faster. They don't have to, search purses or bigger bags. And so, all that's on our website, from the sizes and different, specifications of the type of bags you can bring in. But, as you mentioned before, I mean, the student athlete experience, the guest experience is very important to us. So, everything that we're doing, both on the event level that just, is more important for the coaches and the cheerleaders and the student athletes, from, cleaning protocols, different things from that, will still be, the same things that we do, for a big concert. And then same thing for our guests. We have, staff out that are cleaning. We've got our, portable hand sanitizer units that are all around the building. We've got our different floor markings that will help just, again, provide guidance, for, concession lines, and just help space things out. The nice thing too about this event with, the event itself is that, it's general admission seating. And so that gives, each fan, while, hopefully we want to create that great, loud environment, it does allow people to space out a little bit if they need to. And so, again, we want to encourage people to come early, get the best seats. And then obviously we've got, 2 sessions each day. Right. And so in between sessions as well, just like we would for, NCAA tournament, games and those sessions, our team will come in, we'll clean, and then we'll open the doors again to let the fans back in.
I think that's great. We've had the 2-session thing forever, and I think that's a good thing, because it does make the arena more appealing to the patron that comes in there. Well, we're certainly glad you're here. Thanks for being with us today, and we look forward to seeing you right after Christmas for the 56th annual BOK and TOC, and presented by Tulsa Tech.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited. We've had a fantastic basketball over the years. This will be another feather in the cap for sure.
Super. Thank you very much. And when we come back, we'll have Bobby Allison, the head basketball coach at Memorial.
Which one of these items can be recycled in the city of Tulsa's blue recycling cart? Glass bottle, string lights, ceramic mug. The correct answer is glass bottle. Glass bottles and jars are perfect for the city of Tulsa's blue recycling cart. But string lights and ceramic mugs should be donated or thrown away in the gray trash cart. Learn more at tulsarecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Booker T. Washington has taught me to carry myself with class as an athlete, student, and friend, and to have responsibility on and off the field.
Being an athlete at Memorial High School has taught me to be a better person, because when you play sports, attitude is the main thing you have to deal with. Not just your own, but other people's. It also teaches you to be the bigger person.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now we have Bobby Allison, the head boys basketball coach of the Memorial Chargers. Bobby, Tournament of Champions time.
I know.
Really an exciting time for a tournament that started at Memorial years ago.
No doubt it is. It's a tradition that I remember watching as a kid back when I was 10, 11, 12. Those were kind of the first big-time high school experiences that I saw, and it captured me then, and I still get the same feeling about this time of year with New Year's rolling around and some great high school basketball in Oklahoma.
No kidding. How many have you coached in?
Man, as an assistant, 2 at Muskogee, and then I think 10 total, possibly. And of that 10, I've had a lot of success, and I've only won 1 TOC. So that's how good the competition is year in and year out. And what you did at Tulsa Public Schools and what Mick's continue to do is just strengthen this tournament. And it is besides state, it's the best. That's a fact.
For preparation, the thing that always is exciting for me when I was involved in it was that same aura of the event.
No doubt.
As the state tournament. I mean, the intensity of the players and the coaches and the
doubt.
officials and everybody involved. And it certainly does prepare your teams, for postseason play, because there's no place like it. And playing, what effect do you think has the change to the BOK had on the tournament?
I think it gives a new freshness to the tournament, especially the state's not going to be at ORU this year either. So it's it's the same feel, it's the same, it's the tournament, but with it being at the BOK, I just think it's just kind of gives another edge of positivity to the tournament. You see that BOK when you're driving in downtown Tulsa, and it's right there, and it just, all of our kids, when we've driven past it to and from scrimmages or games this year, they kind of know, like, we're going to be there in December. So it's definitely a positive to have that there. And we've had great games at the BOK showcases over the years.
Right.
So, and they do such a good job there getting things rocking and rolling for the teams that I know it's going to be first class all the way through.
It is a first class operation. We'll have Evan on the show, and we had him on right before.
Right.
And he'll do a great job with that. From a coaching standpoint, how does this affect how you prepare for the rest of the season? Because this is a big tournament in December.
No doubt. That's a great question. And we structure our schedule in pretty much 2 parts at Memorial since I've been there. We really front load in November and December. And then this is the culmination of all of its preseason and scrimmages. And we call it our first state tournament. And then we have a pretty good gap, probably about 10 to 12 days after TOC, where we kind of refresh and reorganize for 14 more games, hopefully. Because the last game of TOC will be our 14th game of the regular season. So it kind of gives us a real image of what we are and what we aren't, positives and negatives. And after TOC, we kind of just look at the guys in the face, win or lose, and we say, this team's coming back in January. Let's run it back and try to get back to the state tournament in March. So it's for us, it's really the end of a first season in a way.
Do you anticipate? Do you always look at making changes after this tournament?
Yeah, we always get better after this. It's been amazing, through a lot of learns. We call them learns, not losses. And we've had some big learns in this, and it's, I think that, guys will get more comfortable in big games after this, and they'll know certain situations or foul troubles that they can or can't get in. And these teams will be attacking us because everybody wants to win it, and they'll be attacking us with their full scout and their full arsenal of players. And the coaches are amazing, so you're going to get tested as a coach and a player where you're going to know your weaknesses and your strengths before January hits.
And that's a good thing.
That's a huge thing. I don't want to be surprised in March on something. I'd rather know what I'm doing wrong in January.
Absolutely. And it has a state tournament feel because we have teams from all over the state of Oklahoma.
And they're all winners.
Right.
I mean, I think there's 3 or 4 state champions back in this year's field, and then everybody's in the top 5, and they're Division I players across the board. So it's,
Yeah, when they play every Tuesday and Friday, that they're ready to play.
Go.
Well, what do you feel about your first opponent?
I know that they got the longest winning streak in the state of Oklahoma, and I'm going to take a 2.5 hour drive out there tonight to go see them because we're going to leave no stone unturned. But they're Hydro Eakleys was Class A state champs last year. I think they got 5 starters back and a bunch of competitive kids that know how to win. And I don't think they're going to play fearless basketball, and so we got to meet that when we take them on the 27th.
That'll be a great game. There are a lot of great games that first day.
Definitely.
And we'll talk later in the show about how to buy tickets and everything.
Definitely.
And thank you for being here today, Bobby. Good luck.
Yeah.
And I hope you can win your second.
Yeah,
tournament champion.
we need to get it going.
Good luck.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll have Terry Scott, a legendary coach who's been to 5 of the TOCs.
Which one of these items can be recycled in the city of Tulsa's blue recycling cart? Plastic bottle, cooler, laundry basket. The correct answer is plastic bottle. Plastic bottles and jugs are perfect for the city of Tulsa's blue recycling cart. But coolers and laundry baskets should be thrown away in the gray trash cart. Learn more at tulsarecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You know you can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, you know your team will always be there for you.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now we have a legendary basketball coach. Everybody in Tulsa knows Terry Scott. Terry, welcome to the show.
Glad to be here.
Well, I tell you what, Tournament of Champions time is a special time, isn't it?
It is. And if your palms don't get sweaty and your heart doesn't race, it's basketball time, and this is the tournament that sets everybody in motion.
How many championship tournaments were you in?
5.
5. Oh my goodness!
5 yes.
So as you prepare your season to go through, because you still have 2.5 months after Christmas, how does the preparation for the Tournament of Champions fit into your preparation for the season?
We call it a perfect indicator of where your team is just before you start your conference. A lot of teams don't start their conference until January. So we felt like that if we get into the Tournament of Champions, and you got to be good to get in, and then once you get in, then you got to be lucky to win it. I had an opportunity to win it one time, but we were there 5 times, and our record was 11-4.
That's really good, because one of the things we tell the coaches at the press conference, you understand somebody's going to be 3-0 and somebody's going to be 0-3.
Yes, and we never were 0-3, and that was a tribute to not only Tulsa, the community, but the fans that will come out, because our kids treated just like a state tournament. That's why it's treated like that. It's called a Tournament of Champions, usually from the year before, or some team that was going to be good just this year.
Yeah.
And then you get those teams together, and you don't have a chance to really scout those teams. But for the fans to come in during the Christmas, between Christmas and New Year's, to have a wonderful sit-down place to play, watch some great basketball, and that's what Tournament Champions is.
Well, that's 3 days of wall-to-wall basketball,
Yes.
of the best talent
Yes.
in the state, because all the key players. We always joke about the one year that we had Shake Milton, and they played a triple overtime. And it was on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
And we started and went to triple overtime. We spent 2 years that year at the Mabee Center.
Yes.
Because
because of
we
the
went
time
past
change.
midnight to get that thing in. But so as you look back on your experiences with the Tournament of Champions, what's some of the most memorable ones?
I think the first time that we played against a guy named Whitaker down at Beggs, and we had to beat the Beggs team in order to play in the finals. Ardmore was in one of the tournaments. But the Booker T Central game back, I can't remember the year now, but we played them in the finals, and it was in I think it was 1990 actually. It was 1990. And I thought I had Russell Pons was my guard, and that let us know where we were going to be, and we went on in 2 years and won a state championship. So a lot of times we use that, even though you don't like to lose, but it gives you a perfect indication of what the traffic's like. It's talking about the lane is like
Sure.
in 5A, 6A moving forward. So we use it as a barometer, but when we won it in 98, that was probably the best showing that I've had. Yeah, the 98 championship.
You know what the uniqueness of the tournament, where it's the David and Goliath concept. You have the small schools playing the large schools, and you never know when they're going to have exceptional talent that can compete with the 5 or 6A school.
You're exactly right. We had played Tahlequah Sequoia when they had their great player there, and Soap, I think his name, and they came in and they beat us on the Maybe Center floor. And I had Bo Richardson the third, which is Nolan the third, and we got beat. But we used that as a barometer. The next thing you know, we're in the state semifinals against Ardmore with a chance to win the championship. So
yeah,
that's a good barometer.
It's such a great tournament. I can remember about 4 years ago, we had a Class A team that was undefeated when they came in, went 0-3, and that was the last 3 games they lost. They went all the way to the state championship.
Was it Garber?
I think so.
I think it was Garber. Yes.
Unbelievable, and that's why it's such an exciting time. As a former coach, when you go to a tournament like that, what are your thoughts?
First of all, you don't want to embarrass yourself. You got probably more people. When I was at Oral Roberts University, one of the things that Oral had mentioned was that more people will look at the sporting events, read the sports in the newspaper than read the Bible. So it's like that. And when you go in there, it's people off from work. You have friends coming in from out of town. And you want to have a good showing for Tulsa Public Schools. You get invited through Tulsa Public Schools. Right. And Memorial is a permanent host, but the other schools, it just depends on if you're lucky or not. And I've been very lucky to be there 5 times.
You know, it was, I was fortunate to do my student teaching for Doug Duggar.
Yes.
And that was Doug's baby back in the day. He started at Memorial High School.
Yes.
And then the crowds got to be so overwhelming, they had to find another location to play. So, you know, they've been all over town. They've been at the Pavilion. They were down at the old Civic Center, which is no longer there. Maybe Center. And now we're going to the BOK. What do you think in the last 30 seconds? What's the BOK mean to this tournament?
Everything. I mean, you got the pros playing there. You got the colleges now with Arkansas and OU playing there. And then you got the high school showcase. Count me in. I'm excited. I saw the field, and I am very happy to be a part of the Hall of Fame of the holiday of that tournament.
Well, what a great experience for kids. And,
yes, it is.
Sure glad you're here, Terry.
Thank you.
And we'll have you back in the future.
Anytime.
And when we come back, we're going to have Mike Brown of the Tulsa World to go over the girls bracket.
Which one of these items can be recycled in the city of Tulsa's blue recycling cart? Mini blinds, hanger, plastic bottle. The correct answer is plastic bottle. Plastic bottles and jugs are great for the city of Tulsa's blue recycling cart. But mini blinds and hangers should be thrown away in the gray trash cart. Learn more at tulsarecycles.com.
I love Will Rogers Athletics because it helped me physically, spiritually, and emotionally through all the journeys I've been through at that school. All of the support staff helped me a lot, and it's just an amazing school.
Athletics at Will Rogers changed my life because it became a second family. With the support of my coaches and teammates, it's helped me gain confidence, work as a team, and will help me in college and in life.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now we have Mike Brown from the Tulsa World to talk about the TOC girls bracket. Mike, welcome to the show.
Always great to be here.
You bet.
I tell you what. It's great to see you. You're looking wonderful
I feel
in
great.
retirement.
I feel great. You know, I golf on Wednesday, show every other Tuesday, and then whatever my wife wants me to do.
Yeah.
There we go.
She's probably got a long list.
We have a long list. And when you're in the business 51 years, there's a lot of things you don't do, you know. But we're glad you're here, and we're glad that we're in the 56th annual Tournament of Champions. How many have you covered, Mike?
Well, as I was saying, I'm not sure I'd have to stop and count it up. But I will say that I believe it was the semifinal night of the first Tournament of Champions when Inola beat OC Northeast, which was highly ranked nationally, and won the first tournament at Memorial High School. I was probably about 13 or 14 at that time. The first tournament I covered would have been the 79-80 season, and I was fortunate enough to cover boys basketball consecutively up through 99, and I did some ORU TU stuff and have been back on high school girls and boys basketball since about 2011. So I would say, 25 to 30, 30 years of it. And when I was a kid, my dad was a basketball fan, so we went everywhere. Saw a lot of TU games at the old pavilion.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember going to those early Tournament of Champions and thinking Memorial High School has got to be the ritziest place I've ever been. Brand new.
Brand new, absolutely. And of course, Doug Duggar, the athletic director there, I was fortunate to do my student teaching with Doug Duggar when I was out. And then, of course, stayed friends with Doug when I was at Northeastern. He was a 3-sport letterman at Northeastern. So anytime we had a coaching vacancy, I always had Doug on there. But what a legacy the Tournament of Champions.
Well, and you know
incredible.
that Eddie Sutton's team with Phil Harmon, I always get confused about the dates, probably 64 or 65, went to the Dodge City, Kansas Tournament of Champions. And I believe Terrell Lester and Wayne Mason from the Tulsa World went out there and watched Central play, and they won. And as soon as they got back, they started writing columns about how we ought to have one of those here.
Yeah.
And I think Doug called up Terrell and said, well, we'll do it.
We'll do it, yeah. Terrell, as far as we know, there might be other people out there, but Terrell has been, might be the only person who's been to every single tournament, all 50, well, this year 56. He's, our historian for the tournament. He keeps all the stats and everything that we put in the magazine for the tournament itself. Well, as we look at what are some of the key matchups you think in that first round?
Well, as we were talking, the key matchups kind of start to change when it looks like Norman and Bixby, the two 6A powerhouses in this tournament, you would have figured to meet in the championship game, but Bixby has Gracie Wernley hurt right now. Bixby had 4 tremendous sophomore players last year and have the same 4 juniors, so they're going to be good. But Gracie hurt her left shoulder on Friday night in their tournament and did not play Saturday night. So, depending on how healthy she is, Norman, who had won 45, Norman won last year's 6A state title, won the 2019 state title. I didn't mean last year, I meant last season because we're in Norman won in 2021, they won in 2019 and were undefeated in 2020 when the state tournament was canceled because of COVID. So they'd won 45 games in a row. Their 2 best players are hurt right now, and so, it becomes problematic forecasting a champion when it looks like the 2 best teams in the tournament are a little banged up right now.
What's your feeling about the move to the BOK?
I think it's exciting. Anybody that hadn't been in that building, they're in for a treat. I got to see a lot of games covering the Tulsa Shock there, and of course the Tulsa Talons wound up being there after. And it's a beautiful building. I'm hoping that we can, put enough people in that it looks, we have a proper atmosphere. But I'm excited about it.
I think it will be. Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad that you'll be covering the tournament again, and maybe we'll have you back down in January when we get getting closer to tournament time postseason tournament time.
That'd be fun.
That'd be great. Well, when we come back, we'll have Barry Lewis, Mike's counterpart at the Tulsa World, to talk about the boys bracket.
Which one of these items can be recycled in the city of Tulsa's blue recycling cart? Plastic bottle, cooler, laundry basket. The correct answer is plastic bottle. Plastic bottles and jugs are perfect for the city of Tulsa's blue recycling cart. But coolers and laundry baskets should be thrown away in the gray trash cart. Learn more at tulsarecycles.com.
Athletics is so important at Tulsa Central because it's an outlet for some of our kids there. They get a better opportunity to basically give back to our community.
At McLean, the sports is what mainly drives a bunch of the students to come to school every single day and work hard because they want to be able to come from the classroom to the field or the court and show what they're good at.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now we have Barry Lewis of the Tulsa World, and we'll discuss the TOC boys bracket. Barry, welcome to the show.
It's great to be back with you, Gil.
Well, it is. I'm glad it's basketball season, transitioning from football season. We've got a lot of things going on right now with hockey and college basketball, professional basketball, and everything. But the TOC takes the stage, I think, here in December, and it's going to be an exciting tournament this year.
We'll be on the 27th through the 29th. Got a great boys field, a great girls field, and of course, after missing last year, really fired up to see the Tournament of Champions resume. And although the Festival of Champions was a nice replacement last year, it's so great to have the Tournament of Champions back going again, full field. One of the most thought about decisions that I made in my 10 years in Tulsa Public Schools, we agonized for 3 days as to whether or not we should. And with the pandemic raging at that time, I called the deputy superintendent. Superintendent said, we just can't do this. We're not going to do it this year. And I hated that, but it's what we had to do. But it's the right thing at the time. And sometimes people don't understand the right thing, but you have to do it. And we did. So this year's tournament, what do you think about this year's tournament? It is loaded on both sides of the bracket, especially it seems like on the boys' side, which I'm a little bit more familiar with. You've got Memorial, of course, which is a perennial team in the Tournament of Champions. And this year, they may be the best team in the state regardless of class this year. Mm-hmm. They're off to a great start. Coach Bobby Allison has them rolling. And I think losing in the quarterfinals last year, which they hadn't done in a long time at Memorial in the state tournament, I think maybe that's got them even more fired up and even hungrier than ever. So look out for the Memorial Chargers.
No kidding. I did happen to see Jinx play in the Tahlequah tournament, and they looked pretty good.
And Jinx is a team with something to prove, as they lost in the first round the regionals last year, which was somewhat shocking. Although last year it was such a crazy year, they had a long layoff before the playoffs, so you could sort of feel that coming on, and they had a tough first round matchup with Sand Springs. So, but Jenks is loaded. I thought they were one of the best teams in the state before they got hit by the long layoff before the playoffs last year. And so Chase Martin, one of the top players in the area, it's gonna in Ben Everett. So look out for Jenks.
You bet. Don't know much about Del City. What do you know about Del City?
Well, they're loaded again after winning the state title last year. They've got a couple of their key players back, Brandon Garrison and Terry McMorris. And they had a tough weekend in Norman, from what I understand, but they look very good. And of course, they are, I guess you would consider them the defending Tournament of Champions champion from a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the preparation that coaches make, and they look at Tournament of Champions of being that first grade check as to where they are and where they need to be. And I think the matchups we have this year are really going to be exciting for the people. What's your feeling to be able to cover the Tournament of Champions at the BOK?
Well, it'll be interesting. Be just another venue that I've covered the Tournament Champions at. I was trying to figure out, I guess I've covered over 25 Tournament of Champions dating all the way back to my Tulsa Tribune days back in 1986 would have been the first year back when the tournament was held in January. So I've covered them, I think, at about all the venues that the Pavilion and the old Memorial Gym, the new Memorial Arena, and of course the Mabee Center all those years. So it'll be interesting to have it at another venue. Of course, it's not going to be all that new because the showcase has been held in previous years that you conducted at the BOK,
right?
And they do a great job.
But what a great opportunity for kids to play in the world-class facility.
Oh yes, I remember all the way back 5, 6, 7 years ago it was when you had the showcase there, and asking Shake Milton about it, and he was just so excited when he was with Owasso. And of course now you can see Shake play in the NBA with Philadelphia.
And they do play one NBA game there a year, and of course they had the Arkansas-Oklahoma game there last weekend. So it is a great venue for those kids. Prediction on who may win?
I'm going to go with Memorial. Memorial, for all the success they've had in the postseason under Bobby Allison, I think they've only won it once with him as the head coach, and I think that was that classic triple overtime game that didn't end until midnight. We get Shake Milton and Owasso.
Right.
But as Bobby Allison says, and a lot of coaches say, that you can learn a lot, maybe even learn more by just playing the competition there and by losing there than you would have if you'd have played 3 games against inferior competition.
Lesser opponents.
So yeah, I think I'm going to go on record with Memorial.
All right. Well, thanks for being here. We'll have you back during the year. And when we come back, we're going to have Melanie Stewart, who is the head girls basketball coach at Lincoln Christian.
Which one of these items can be recycled in the city of Tulsa's blue recycling cart? Glass bottle, string lights, ceramic mug. The correct answer is glass bottle. Glass bottles and jars are perfect for the city of Tulsa's blue recycling cart, but string lights and ceramic mugs should be donated or thrown away in the gray trash cart. Learn more at tulsarecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Edison High School has taught me to work as a team rather than as an individual. Whenever you're on a team, you have a special bond with each other. You know you can rely on them in a time of need, whether on or off the court. Whether it be a shoulder to cry on or advice on how you can improve, you know your team will always be there for you.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics, and now we have Melanie Stewart, the head girls basketball coach at Lincoln Christian. Melanie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. This is great.
I tell you what, it's an exciting time of the year as we get to the holiday season, but Tournament of Champions makes it even more exciting.
Anytime there's basketball to be played, it's an exciting time, but especially during this time of the year, you know, it gives the kids that feel of we're out of school, but man, what it feels like to still be playing basketball is fun.
What does the playing in the Tournament of Champions you think mean to your program?
Oh man, our school's never had anything like that on the basketball side of things. So I think for us, it's just this is a special occasion. I think our kids are excited about it, and I think our school is excited about it. So it really is. It's a special tournament in and of itself. But for our school and our program, I think that it just legitimizes what we're trying to accomplish there.
I think the other caveat this year that we tried to get to last year, because of the pandemic we couldn't, is playing at the BOK.
Yeah, that is going to be amazing. I just think our kids, just to get that experience, and I know when we went to the state tournament this last year, even that was a little muted. What I would just say is muted in the experience that the Big House normally is. Mm-hmm. So to get to go to the BOK and be on that type of floor in that big space and that venue is going to be amazing for us.
It is, as you said, the mutation of last year without having fans or enough fans in the stand means it's so much more for our kids this year, I think.
I think so. And I think that just looking at the caliber of teams that are in there and the fact that people are starting to get back out again, and I think that people are going to be excited. It's going to, and being at the BOK, it's definitely going to draw a good crowd. I think.
We have the Winterfest outside with the ice rink and the basketball going on the inside. It is really, really a neat time. So how do you put this into your season preparation to have a tournament this big in the front end of the season?
I think this is exciting for our kids. I always love to challenge our kids. I'm not that person that's going to try to schedule so that we can rack up wins. I've never been that type of person. And we have a really salty team, most of them back from last year. And so just to challenge our kids, when we got this invite, I mean, it was an easy, absolutely yes. You know, we want to do this. Just because I know that these kids, they deserve this type of opportunity, but also on the back end of that is just being able to play on that stage and put yourself in that situation and push your game. I think it's exciting for us, but the timing of it, I think it's going to give us that check in the middle of our season. That for me, I always look at that as a roadmap for where do we need to go to get to where we want to be at the very end. And I think playing this caliber of teams is going to definitely expose the things that we do really well and expose the things that we need to get way better at before the state tournament.
Yeah, I think that does. A lot of coaches, I think, use it that way. Mentioning earlier in the show that one year a Class A school came in undefeated, left 0-3, and that was the last 3 games they lost. They went all the way to the state tournament because of the level of competition.
Yeah.
So tell us about some of your key players that will have to do well for you to be able to be in the finals.
Well, we have quite a few kids that I think could definitely help us. Ellie Brueggemann, most people that know our team know about Ellie Brueggemann. She's a kid that's got some Division I offers on the table and a really good D2 offer in Drury, which is they always compete for the national title in theirs. But she's gonna be a key for us. I think that she's a kid that is getting more and more confident every day in expanding her game. And I think that she'll do a good job of, trying to work away from the basketball because a lot of teams are keying on her. And so that's been something that's been, that she needs to, be able to do for us. We've got some other kids. Addison Roberts, our point guard, has certainly, she's improved her game tremendously from last year to this year. A way better shooter right now than she was last year. She just went into the gym and worked on it between last season and this season. We've got another little shooter, Lexi Murphy, and she does a great job of knocking down threes for us and good little defender. And then, we start another kid, Gracie Talley, who is a senior, and she's just a hard-nosed, hard-working kid that fills the gap, but probably the heart and soul of our team. And a lot of people wouldn't notice what she does until you see our stat line is Chloe Rickey, and she's a senior that doesn't necessarily score a lot of points for us, but she cleans the boards, she defends well, she does all the little things right. And we've got some kids that will come off the bench, certainly a freshman that we're just getting back right now from an Achilles injury. She's been off for about 6 weeks, and we just got her back this week. And so she's gonna, I look to see her make a little noise for us too. So we're excited about it.
What do you think about, in the last 20 seconds, what do you think about your opponent?
Oh man, we're going to have to come ready to go. They're good. That they will come prepared, well coached, very athletic. We're going to have to do our job to keep them contained.
Well, good luck, and thank you for being here today, and hopefully we'll have you back on sometime later in the season.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
When we come back, we'll have Mick Wilson, the Executive Director of Athletics.
Which one of these items can be recycled in the city of Tulsa's blue recycling cart? Battery, steel can, thermos. The correct answer is steel can. Aluminum and steel cans are great for the city of Tulsa's blue recycling cart. To dispose of e-waste like batteries, contact the city of Tulsa. Learn more at tulsarecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hills means that you have to be consistent outgoing, and be dedicated because students at Nathan Hale look up to the football team.
Being an athlete at Nathan Hale has taught me to be confident and disciplined and always to be open-minded and always ready to work with people no matter how difficult it is.
Welcome to Inside Tulsa Athletics. Our final guest today is the Executive Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, Mick Wilson, and the Director of the Tournament of Champions. Mick, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Gil. I appreciate being here.
This is a busy time as we try to wrap up the first semester of school academically, but end up with the grand tournament in the state of Oklahoma, I think, the premier invitational tournament in the state of Oklahoma, the Tournament of Champions.
Gil, it's just always such a pleasure to be involved with such a prestigious event and to be one of the showcase pieces of Tulsa Public Schools and high school basketball throughout the state. It's just it's a privilege and an honor to be the director of the tournament. It's something that I've always taken very serious and taken to heart, and I love everything about it. It's been 10 years of part of my life, and even going back as before that, as being a coach in the tournament. It's something that you always hold dear to your heart, and it's just an exciting time of year, and looking forward to another great tournament.
Well, what a great venue we have. We've made that change, moving downtown to the BOK and working with Evan Paulette and those folks down there. But how has that transition been from your perspective?
Well, it's been really good, and I think going a little further back, Gil, was when we established the High School Hoop Showcase. I think that allowed us to kind of get our feet wet and put them in the water and kind of learn the lay of the land of the BOK Center, and especially working with those folks. Evan has been one that has been there from the beginning. Fortunate that he's such a great contact for us and such a good advocate of what we're doing. He's got a lot of good ideas, and we were able to expand on some of those. But I think it's been a great transition for us so far. Of course, we're not throwing the ball up in the air yet, so we'll see how that goes. But we did remind our coaches at the luncheon that, hey, we've been there for one day. We've never been there for 3, so we're going to ask for some grace. It's probably not going to always be perfect, but at least, as you always used to say, Gil, at least you have a chance when you have a little preparation. And we've done that. We've done our due diligence, and we're ready. But we did tell our coaches this is a new area, and we're going to work through it. There will be some kinks to work out, but we'll get through it together. And for the most part, we really want to have a good experience for our kids and for our coaches.
I think they can handle it. They had the big time wrestling tournaments. They've had Division I basketball. They've had NBA basketball, and of course they've had the showcase. And high school athletics is a little different than those other things, but I feel very confident that it'll be a tremendous experience for those kids.
Well, there's a reason that they're a world-class organization and always highly awarded in different arenas. But great venue, great folks, great hospitality, and just how about a great location, downtown Tulsa? You just can't get any better than our downtown.
Especially with Winterfest right out the front porch there. If you want ice skate, you bring your ice skates because they've got it right there in front of you.
They can have the ice skating. I'll stay inside where it's warm and watch some good basketball. But no, it'll be great. That'll be great for a lot of communities that come and visit Tulsa to be able to get a flavor of what's going on downtown, and maybe even, like I said, visit Winterfest and see part of that. It
almost becomes, because of the order of downtown and with everything that's going on in the Christmas season and so on, the holiday season, it's almost bigger than the state tournament.
In a lot of ways, Gil, and of course I got a call from the OSSA a few days ago and wanted to know what's going to be the procedure to get in because they want to come and visit. David Glover, I talked to him, and the same way with Mike Whaley and David Jackson. I think they like to come and see not only some of our really better basketball teams in the state, but I think they like to pick our brain and see what we're doing and see if there's any ideas they can steal. We've been through that before with them, and they're just good supporters of our high school sports, and I appreciate those guys and what they do. So hopefully they'll be able to make it and visit the tournament.
I know about 5 years ago we sent them our protocols on how to run a tournament. That's David Jackson called after we'd sent that to him, and he said, boy, you guys are more organized in the state tournament. I said, well, I hope so.
Well, you know, it's nice to know that they respect the job that we do and they support us, and we want to do that. We want to help them make their tournament better as well, because in the end, all it is that our kids across the state win.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
get a good product.
Well, we're glad to have them there. Talk a little bit about preparation. We got about a minute to go for the tournament, things that people will have to do to get in and so on.
Well, I think the big thing right now is just the security. The levels of security are probably more different than they've experienced throughout the state. The BOK Center, again, safety is of the utmost importance. So really probably the bag policy, being ready to not show up with a bag larger than it can be. And if you do have a bag, it has to be a clear bag. Those are the big things. And I know Evan has spoken on that, but that's probably the big thing. And parking, you know, making sure you get there early enough that you find some good parking. Again, we anticipate that there will be some lots that maybe are higher than normal during this tournament, and then maybe not. There may be some lots that aren't set up to handle this venue or want to even associate with it. So parking may not be that big of a concern during the holidays. So hopefully our fans will work through that and know that they're just going to have to practice a little patience.
In the next segment, we're going to give them the website and everything to get their preseason tickets if they want for the entire tournament. So
excellent.
Be great. Hope to have you back in January when we talk about the Tournament of Champions, and we'll be back after these messages.
Which one of these items can be recycled in the City of Tulsa's blue recycling cart? Mini blinds, hanger, plastic bottle. The correct answer is plastic bottle. Plastic bottles and jugs are great for the City of Tulsa's blue recycling cart, but mini blinds and hangers should be thrown away in the gray trash cart. Learn more at tulsarecycles.com.
Being an athlete at Booker T. Washington has taught me to carry myself with class as an athlete, student, and friend, and to have responsibility on and off the field.
Being an athlete at Memorial High School has taught me to be a better person, because when you play sports, attitude is the main thing you have to deal with. Not just your own, but other people's. It also teaches you to be the bigger person.
We certainly hope you enjoyed today's show. Oklahoma Premier High School Basketball Tournament, the 56th Annual Tournament of Champions presented by Tulsa Tech, will be held at the BOK Center on Monday, December the 27th through Wednesday, December the 29th. 16 of the best high school basketball teams in the state will face off in the prestigious championship brackets, both for boys and girls. You can make reservations for all sessions and individual game sessions at www.bokcenter.com. Single session tickets also went on sale on December the 8th. Don't miss this year's tournament. Go online and reserve your tickets. We'll be back in January of 2022 with the edition of Inside Tulsa Athletics. Have a great holiday season. We'll see you at the tournament.